Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Blackluster Soldier test hand video. So this deck is a really interesting deck that basically summons Blackluster Soldier, Super Soldier with buffs on it using the Evening Twilight and Beginning Night, which is a really cool aspect of this deck because I don't know of any other deck that actually does that, which is really cool. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can become part of our notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon because we have some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a signed card sent to you in the mail, or even getting requested deck profile just like this deck every single month that you are a patron. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to go ahead and shuffle this deck up really quick. We are playing incantations in here, which makes the deck a little bit easier to flow, so you won't really need that much of the extract. There is some times where you'll summon that Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, but it's far and few between because the boss monsters in the deck work they just work perfectly without the other stuff in here. So let's go ahead and shuffle this deck up really quick, and let's give it a quick pile shuffle and see what we can get for some test hands. So this is a really interesting deck. I love playing around with Blackluster Soldier because some of the buffs that it can get is being able to attack multiple times per turn, being able to banish something, or rip a card out of your opponent's hand with using those two knights that you can just, I call them the chibi Blackluster Soldiers, or the chibi knights, using them as ritual materials to be able to go into your Blackluster Soldier ritual monsters. It just they really help out in the deck a lot. So let's go ahead and shuffle this up one more time just to make sure we got a good mix of the cards, and go ahead and draw our first hand and see what we can get. So for the first hand, we're going to get our Gateway to Chaos, which is going to add a Blackluster Soldier ritual monster from our deck to our hand, which is super nice. Called by the Grave, it's alright, just to be able to stop stuff. The Super Soldier Synthesis is really good because you're going to immediately be able to go into your plays to get your Blackluster Soldier ritual monster on your side of the field because you have Gateway to Chaos and Super Soldier Synthesis. The Blackluster Soldier of Envoy the Beginning, this is a really good hand, stacking up to be a really good hand. And the Evening Twilight, that's going to help us with link plays a little bit. Now this is hands like this, I wouldn't hesitate to go into a link monster, or because you could immediately just normal summon this card and then use the copy of Super Soldier Synthesis to send both your Evening Twilight and Beginning Nights to the graveyard, which would get you another play of getting this card out on your field by banishing them both to the graveyard, and then, or banishing them both out of your graveyard, and then they both trigger, searching you another Blackluster Soldier ritual monster and a ritual spell. If you guys don't know the other chibi knight that I'm talking about, I am talking about this guy right here. We're talking about the Beginning Night. You see, when you activate that Super Soldier Synthesis, it has the effect, which is the main card that we're going to be using a lot of the times. Super Soldier Synthesis basically says that you can ritual summon any Blackluster Soldier ritual monster from your hand or graveyard, and you must also send a light or dark monster, one from your hand and one from your deck, to the graveyard, whose total level exactly equal 8. So that works out perfect that we actually have one of them in the hand to send to the graveyard, and then you send the other one from the deck. So that's a really good hand, and plus we have the Call by the Grave that's just going to stop our opponent when we try and activate that Super Soldier Synthesis. Your opponent's just going to try and stop it with like an Ash Blossom or something, and we're not going to let that happen. It actually doesn't hurt us that much if we get Called by the Grave, because a lot of our stuff just banishes anyways, and it's like, okay, fine, I'm going to trigger an effect. So let's go ahead and get our next test hand and see what we can get in our next test hand. So for the next one, we're going to go ahead and cut that deck really quick and see what we can get. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a Manju, which is always good to grab what we need. Incantation Child Slime, this pretty much nets us the entire play that we need, because you can normal summon this and get your Super Soldier Synthesis, and then reveal this and discard a card, and then special summon the incantation that you need to search. Gateway to Chaos is going to get us our copy of Blackluster Soldier, Super Soldier, and then a copy of the Beginning Night. So we have the Synthesis target in our hand as well. So again, you have Blackluster Soldier in your hand just right off the bat. You have potentially 2 Blackluster Soldiers with this hand, which is really nice to be able to do. And then we're going to draw and get our Blackluster Soldier, Envoy the Beginning, right off the bat again, to be able to drop this with our Super Soldier to be able to OTK your opponent. Especially if you're going second in this deck. It's a lot better to go second in this deck anyways, because you're going to summon copies of like Blackluster Soldier, the Envoy of Chaos, which is going to just help us out, or Envoy the Beginning, which is going to be really helpful, just getting him out on the field and banishing stuff and being able to attack twice. Like, he's one of the best boss monsters still in the game. Like, people underestimate that card, but it's really nuts. So for the next test hand, and then we're going to do a play out test hand, we're going to see what we can get. So we're going to go ahead and get our Blackluster Soldier, Super Soldier right out the bat. We're going to get Called by the Grave. We're going to get Gateway to Chaos, Super Soldier Synthesis, and then a Talismandra, which we have a ritual monster in our hand, so we can reveal it and then summon Kandal and get exactly what we need. And then if we're going to go and draw one more time to see what we can get for going second, we're going to get a Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, or Blackluster Soldier normal vanilla version, which is totally fine. This card is going to be really nice to have in the hand. This is not the most optimal hand because you can't really ritual summon him out, because you have to use, with this particular card, you have to use a light and dark monster that exactly equal the level. So you don't have a level 2 in the deck to actually send to the graveyard that's light for this. So you kind of have to just special summon this to your side of the field and go for the Kandal, and then Kandal is going to search your Super Soldier Ritual, which then you can send this to the graveyard and summon this guy. But then you kind of run into problems where this is the only monster and you have this and Kandal and Talismandra on the field, which is good, but it's not the most optimal play. So let's go ahead and do our next hand, and we're actually going to play this one out and see what we can get in this particular hand. If we can draw hands like our first two, we're going to be great. If we draw into ones like our third one, we might be in a sticky situation. But it just happens. Sometimes with this deck, you draw, but you always, in every single one of those hands, you could summon the Soldier of Chaos. Every single hand. So let's go ahead and shuffle this up and see what we can get. Let's go ahead and cut that deck really quick and go ahead and draw. So we're going to draw into a Blackluster Soldier. That's a pretty good sign right off the bat. Beginning of night, Super Soldier Synthesis, so we can immediately summon this card, which is nice. And then we draw into a Blackluster Soldier, Super Soldier, and then another Super Soldier Synthesis. So if we're going first, this is our hand. If we're going second, I'm going to go ahead and reveal that, which is a Kandal, which is pretty good because you could get another search off. But let's go ahead and just play this hand out and show you guys how you play it. So Super Soldier Synthesis is going to be the main ritual spell that we're going to be using for this. I'm going to go ahead and grab out of my deck the other copy of the Evening Twilight Night, which is going to help us out quite a lot. And we're going to send that Beginning Night as well to summon our Super Soldier. So with sending these two to the graveyard, he gains the effect of a Blackluster Soldier monster gains the following effects that uses the Beginning Night as a material. So when he uses the Beginning Night as a material, he gains the effects of once per turn you can target a monster your opponent controls and banish it. And then when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can activate the effect to make it a second attack in a row. And this card is banished, then you get an additional effect of being able to add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Now, the Evening Twilight lets you once per turn target a monster on the field and banish it. And then once per turn, you can banish one random card from your opponent's hand face down into your opponent's next end phase. So he gains all those effects, which is really cool. And he has his own effect of being able to inflict damage equal to the attack of the monster he destroys by battle as well. Then, he also has the effect of Evening Twilight. If it's banished, then you get to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So, just with that, you have potentially a monster that can banish a card on the field, can attack twice, and can rip a card out of your opponent's hand. I mean, that's a good start. And then if we go next turn and we draw into that copy of Evening Twilight, you can summon out your other Blackluster Soldier by just doing the same thing. If your opponent destroys this, then you get to go Evening Twilight, you send your Beginning Night, summon the Blackluster Soldier, and attack with Blackluster Soldier and this one. And you pretty much, if they can't stop this, you win. So that's a really good field to start with. That's a really good way to kind of showcase the simple combos of the deck to go off with without incantations. But that's basically the main combo of how you summon your Blackluster Soldier is with Synthesis, and then they gain the effects, and then you use the effects to kind of overwhelm your opponent to get rid of cards on their side of the field. I mean, if he banishes something, that's 1, and then he attacks twice, that's 3, and then he inflicts damage for each monster that he destroys. You're doing a lot of damage that not even Flex Tape is going to be able to fix with that. And you're also getting those 2 banishes, so they're going -3 off of just you summoning that monster and then letting it go through. So, for the next test hand, we're going to see what we can draw. We're going to draw and do a Call by the Grave so we can stop our opponent from doing all sorts of stuff. Envoy of Chaos is really good because you can make them go by 1500. Kandal is pretty good as long as we draw a ritual spell. The Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, and a Beginning Night. So this is not, again, this one is not an optimal hand because you don't have a ritual monster or ritual spell in your hand. But let's say we're going second and we fix the hand with a copy of the Blackluster Soldier. We didn't fix the hand with that, but You will get hands like this, but the nice thing is these have 2k defense, so you can do something as simple as just setting it, and then setting the Call by the Grave to be able to bait out your opponent. Yes, it's set one pass, but let's say they don't destroy this, or they do destroy this. They destroy it, you pass, you go to your turn, you get that Gateway of Chaos. Now you have a little bit more of a wiggle room, because you can activate that Gateway of Chaos, and then grab from your deck to your hand a copy of your Blackluster Soldier Super Soldier. Now, unfortunately, we have the Kandal and we don't have the Talismandra, so we can't do all that much. But we can do this. You can normal summon out that copy of Envoy of Chaos and swing at your opponent with it and get it destroyed, which is going to be totally fine because you can have... Actually, that one's dark, so that's not going to help. So that's actually a brick. I'm going to go with that's a brick. Because you can't really do all that much with that hand. But sometimes with Blackluster Soldier, you will run into bricks. It just happens. So let's go ahead and go into our next hand and see what we can get. Hopefully they'll give Blackluster Soldier some more support. Like, it really needs just a couple more cards, because like a couple of main deck monsters. And I know Gaia the Fierce Knight technically counts as part of the archetype, but it needs something else. It just needs something, and I don't know what it is. Maybe a vanilla, so we can use Advanced Ritual Art. Maybe that. Let's go ahead and see what we can do for the next hand. So for the next hand, draw power. It needs draw power. So for the next hand, we're going to draw into a Blackluster Soldier Envoy of Chaos. We're going to get our Evening Twilight, Call by the Grave, Super Soldier, and a copy of Beginning Night. So again, you kind of got a little bit of a problem there where you don't have the other cards, but it's fine. We're going to draw into Collapse Serpent, which is going to help us out quite a bit. So we're going to set that copy of Beginning Night and set the Call by the Grave. So if your opponent swings into this and destroys it, it is going to go to the graveyard, and you do have that Call by the Grave to stop your opponent with something. So we're going to draw into our next turn and get that trade in. So at this point, you could banish from your graveyard the copy of your Beginning Night. And the Beginning Night's effect is when this card is banished, you get to add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand to summon that Collapse Serpent. I remember when I was playing 3 of those in this deck. So this is going to let us add our Synthesis from our deck to our hand. And then you're going to activate that Synthesis. Synthesis is going to send from your hand to the graveyard your Evening Twilight, which you could use that Call by the Grave to negate. And you're going to send from your deck to the graveyard your copy of the Beginning Night, which is then going to let us summon our copy of the Blackluster Soldier. Or not, wrong Blackluster Soldier. This Blackluster Soldier. I'm getting ahead of myself. I really want to summon this guy. Which then you could pass with this field, or you could go a little bit further, and you could use your copy of Beginning and Evening Twilight, banish them, and then trigger this effect. But I probably would wait so I could get another playoff. So with this field, you could just attack with these and then pass, or use the effect banish and pass. And then for turn 5, we draw into this, and you're going to banish from your graveyard these 2 from the graveyard, and then it's going to give you 2 searches, which is going to get you into your copy of either the Synthesis, or it's going to get you into your copy of, let's see, where to go, is the other ritual spell, the Super Soldier Ritual. You get Super Soldier Ritual if you want to get this, which lets you ritual summon any Blackluster Soldier monster, attributing from your hand or field whose total level equal exactly 8, which is probably what I would grab anyways, because you have the incantation in hand. Grab this, and then now you could go this route. Okay, so when you go this route, you could use the Super Soldier Ritual and then get rid of these 2 on your side of the field, and then summon out your last copy of Blackluster Soldier. So you've got plays right there. If you couldn't summon it out, you could always trade in, which would get us into a copy of Evening Twilight and Call by Grave, which is not terrible, because then you could just get those monsters on the field. But even with just these 2 on the field, you've got a really good board. So let's go ahead and do another test hand and see what we can get. That was test hand number 2, so let's go into test hand number 3, actually. Let's go into test hand number 4 and see what we can get. So let's see what we can actually draw out. Now I will mention to you guys, it does help to pile shuffle this deck, like I always mention to you guys, especially with decks like this where you're trying to not draw certain cards. It's because, I mean, every deck plays garnets. Every single deck plays a garnet in some way or another, or something you don't want to see in multiples in any deck. And this deck is no different. Like in Black Wings, I don't want to see multiple Simmos. In Dark Magician, I don't want to see 3 Dark Magicians in my hand. So it helps to pile shuffle your deck so you don't have to deal with so much of those unnecessary monsters in your hand. So let's go ahead and see what we can get in this particular hand. So for the next test hand, we're going to go ahead and draw into Call by the Grave, Super Soldier Synthesis, White Dragon, Wyvern Buster. We've got the Gateway to Chaos, and we've got a Blackluster Soldier. So let's go ahead and say we're going second, just to reveal it to you guys, and we're going to draw into that beginning night. So this is what I was saying before, that it's really nice to play going second in Blackluster Soldier, because with this hand, you can stop your opponent from doing something like a hand trap against you, and you also have the Super Soldier Synthesis and the Search with this. So you have a bunch of different plays with going second. So I'm going to show you guys a going second hand. So we're going to go ahead and go Gateway to Chaos and say our opponent Ash Blossoms us. Say they droll Lockbird. I don't care. You drop that Call by the Grave and say, nope, you're not going to do that. Okay? Then we're going to go ahead and add from our deck to the hand the copy of Super Soldier from our deck to our hand. Now, at this point, you could go Super Soldier Synthesis, send the copy of Beginning Night to the graveyard, send the copy of Evening Twilight from your deck to the graveyard, and then go for the Super Soldier again. So see, we're always constantly getting out that Super Soldier, which is the big play of the deck. That's what you're trying to do every single time you're playing this deck. Now, you can activate the copy of your Wyvern Buster and special summon this to your side of the field by banishing a dark monster in the graveyard, which would be your copy of Evening Twilight. Now, don't forget you are getting tokens on your copy of Gateway to Chaos each time a monster is sent from your hand or your side of the field to the graveyard. So we did send 2 from the deck to the graveyard, so you're getting 2 counters, but I haven't gotten more than the amount that I needed, so I haven't been counting them this whole time, because you're not getting that amount that you need on your first turn. So it kind of is like, you don't really need to worry about it. It does add a ritual spell from deck to hand, but it doesn't, again, the first turn, it doesn't really matter, and we're just doing like first turn plays. But when you're actually playing BLS, definitely keep track of those counters with something like a dice or something like that. It really comes in handy. So at this point, you could, I wouldn't link summon or anything like that. You're going to get to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, which is going to be a copy of your Super Soldier. And if you draw a copy of Trade In next turn or something like that, you're going to get some plays. Or if your opponent destroys one of your monsters by battle, then you're going to get to immediately get the effect of Gateway to Chaos to activate, and then add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which could be a copy of your Super Soldier ritual, which will get you another copy of BLS to your side of the field. So if you draw in, you're going to get that Manju. See, it didn't even matter that I had this. So we're going to draw that Manju, drop the Manju, add from deck to hand our copy of Super Soldier Ritual. That Super Soldier Ritual is going to add, and then you just immediately activate Super Soldier Ritual, sending Blackluster Soldier to the graveyard and summoning this one. And don't forget about the effect that you can only special summon Blackluster Soldier, Super Soldier once per turn. So you can only special summon these guys once per turn each. So that's why I've been waiting till the next turn to summon them anyway. So that's it for that test hand. Well, let's do one more, and then we'll call it for this one. See, I haven't touched that extra deck a single time in this entire test hand. So if you guys want to bump those incantations up, if you feel like you're not drawing what you need, you can bump up the Candles up to 3. I think I'm playing 2 and 2. And then 1 and 1 of the Pencil Plume Bookstone, 1 and 1 of those, and then 2 and 2 of Candle, and 2 in, Kendall, yeah, and Talismandra. But you guys can definitely look at the deck profile down in the description below, because we have some awesome combos in the actual deck profile where you can where I talk about that too. So, Evening Twilight's the first one we're going to draw into. Bookstone, speaking of incantations, and Talismandra, I talk about them, and Speak of the Devil, here they are. Gateway to Chaos, and a copy of Super Soldier Synthesis. Now, this is a good hand. Okay, this is a really good hand, because we have multiple searches, we have multiple incantations, we have really good. Let's just say we're going first with this hand, and we drop that Gateway to Chaos, and we're immediately going to add from our deck to our hand our copy of the Super Soldier. So once we get Super Soldier in our hand, you can reveal either the Bookstone or the Candle, either or, and just immediately go for a play. Let's go ahead and say, let's make it easy so we don't forget. Super Soldier Synthesis is the first thing I would do, and send her from our deck to the graveyard. It would actually be the last thing I do. Let's go ahead and do that last, because that would be the one that I'd want to protect the most. So let's go ahead and reveal in our hand a ritual spell and summon the Bookstone. So we're going to special summon the Bookstone to our field by revealing the Super Soldier Synthesis in our hand, which is then going to get us to special summon an incantation from the deck. We're going to go ahead and special summon our effect of Kendall to our side of the field. And the other thing is you're actually putting up a really nice wall on your side of the field as well. So Kendall's effect is going to trigger, letting us add a ritual spell from our deck to our hand. Since we already have Synthesis, I would probably just go ahead and grab the Super Soldier ritual, because it's just an additional play and getting you extra value out of these. So it doesn't hurt to just do that. You can reveal the Talismandra because you can only special summon the BLS once per turn. So we're going to special summon that Talismandra by revealing the BLS, and then we're going to special summon out from our deck a copy of... You could summon out Pencil Plume, or you could just hold it if you wanted to. I probably would just hold it. Yeah, I'd probably just hold it, because you don't really need it right now. Go ahead and hold that, and then activate the Super Soldier Synthesis, and you don't want to clog up the field too bad. Evening Twilight is going to go off, sending to the graveyard our copy of Beginning Night as well, and then you're going to get your play to get your Super Soldier out on your side of the field. And then Super Soldier can attack your opponent twice, can banish something, and can rip a card out of your opponent's hand, which is going to be super helpful. So let's go ahead and say we go into our next turn, and we draw, and you get that Gateway to Chaos. Now, we did send one monster from our hand and one monster from the deck, but it was in the same effect, so it only gets one token. But if our opponent destroys these on our side of the field, then we can just get rid of them, and we can get a token on 2 tokens on this, and then add from deck to hand. But it's not going to be super pivotal, so we're not going to worry about that. But the main thing is getting that search. So you tag it in and out, and then you can grab from deck another Super Soldier if you wanted to, or a regular BLS, or whatever you need. Reveal the copy of Kandal, or reveal the copy of Talismandra in your hand, and then immediately use its effect to be able to special summon from your deck a copy of Pencil Plume, or a copy of, let's see, we don't have a ritual monster in the graveyard, so that's going to be a little bit tough to summon this guy, because we're going to have to exactly equal 8 to summon him, but we do have a couple of different routes that we could actually go. So you can summon Pencil Plume, and it's not going to grab you anything. You could summon Kandal. I would probably summon Kandal in this situation, just to thin the deck. And then Kandal is going to search us a copy of Super Soldier Synthesis and add that to our hand, because it's going to add a ritual spell. Or, yeah, that's going to add a ritual spell. So you can just add that ritual spell and sit on it and attack your opponent with this, because usually your opponent's not going to be able to get rid of it. And then we draw into BLS, which is going to just net us the entire game, especially if we go into turn 5, because all you're going to do is banish these 2 from the graveyard, summon the BLS, and then they're going to search you again, which is going to get you a copy of Super Soldier Synthesis and another Blackluster Soldier. Activate the Super Soldier ritual, and then summon this guy, and then you got this board, and you pretty much won, if they lasted that long. So that's it for the test hands, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a really fun deck to play around with. I feel like Blackluster Soldier needs a little bit more support to be a little bit more consistent. It's a good deck, don't get me wrong, but it just needs a little bit more love how Gaia the Fierce Knight got it. And hopefully in the next couple of sets, maybe we'll get a Blackluster Soldier themed set, which is going to be kind of cool. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell next so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. And tell me what you think of this test hand. And check out the Patreon down in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.